Today's lesson is on demand for labor and supply of labor. First, we focus on the demand for labor, which shows how many workers an employer is willing and able to hire at a given wage rate at a given period. Let's focus on increase in demand for labor. Draw the axis. Mark it as wage rate and quantity of labor. Draw the demand for labor curve, supply of labor curve. Let's mark the equilibrium as W1 and Q1. Since there is an increase in demand for labor, the DL curve shifts to the right. Therefore, we derive at a new equilibrium point at W2 and Q2. As a result, causes the wage rate to increase and the quantity of labor to increase. So the wage rate increases from W1 to W2 and the quantity of labor increases from Q1 to Q2. Secondly, let's look at the impact of a decrease in demand for labor. So let's mark the axis, wage rate and quantity of labor. Draw a DL curve and an SL curve. Let's mark the equilibrium W1, Q1. Since there is a decrease in demand for labor, shift the DL curve towards the left side and mark it DL2. Now, let's identify the new equilibrium point. Wage rate W2 and quantity of labor Q2. As a result of such decrease in demand for labor, the quantity of labor decreases as well as the wage rate decreases from W1 to W2. Now we are done with increase and decrease in demand for labor. Now let's have a look at increase and decrease in supply of labor. So what does supply of labor mean? It is the number of workers willing and able to work in a particular job or industry for a given wage. So let's see, how does an increase in supply of labor have an impact on a demand and supply diagram? Let's mark the axis as wage rate and quantity of labor. Draw a demand for labor curve, DL1, followed by supply of labor. Mark the equilibrium, W1, Q1. In this case, we shift the supply curve to the right since there is an increase in supply of labor. Let's mark the new equilibrium as W1, W2 and Q2. As a result of an increase in supply of labor, wages fall from W1 to W2, whereas the quantity of labor would increase from Q1 to Q2. Moving to the next is decrease in supply of labor. Mark the axis, wage rate and quantity of labor. Let's mark the demand curve, DL1, and the supply for labor, SL. Mark the equilibrium as W1, Q1. Now in this case, there is a decrease in supply for labor, therefore it shifts towards the left side. Now you can obtain the new equilibrium point as W2 and Q2. As a result of such decrease in supply of labor, the wage rate increases from W1 to W2, whereas the quantity of labor decreases from Q1 to Q2.